Alright, so we're back with the 62 again. So I think last video we were talking about how bad this engine smokes out of the catch can and how much blow by it has. And I've been trying to source an engine for it. Pretty much every lead I've had has just been a dead end or hasn't worked out. So local junkyard had a 04 6-liter. They wanted, I think it was about $1,700. Another guy claimed he had a 6.2 for $1,500. He ghosted me. Another guy was supposed to have an engine. He ghosted me. You know, typically how it goes when you're trying to find something for yourself. So anyway, my buddy got on Marketplace and was able to find me a whole truck for cheaper than anybody wanted an engine for, and we actually got to crank it up, hear it run, and then drive it home. So it was a 08 Yukon Denali. So it has a 6.2 in it, 6L80, and unfortunately it's all-wheel drive. So it's 4-wheel drive, 6L80, because it would be kind of cool to have a 6-speed in here. I might keep it and convert it to 2-wheel drive and have it rebuilt and everything, but I have a Holley Dominator in this truck, and for whatever reason, Holley's highest end ECU can't run a 6L80. So only, as far as I know of this video, only the Terminator X Max can run a 6L80. So but anyway, I'm not really worried about that right now. I'm worried about getting a good engine in it that doesn't smoke real bad and have a lot of blow by. So anyway, that's where we're at on the engine. To recap again, this is a LY6 6-liter. It's got Liberty heads on it. Michael and them got me the rocker arms, so they already have a trunnion upgrade and whatnot. It's a JFR custom spec cam for that turbo actually, and this cam and this turbo have been with me for probably 12 years. I think I've had this cam and that turbo, and they've been in various engines and combinations over the years. And so I just had I still had this cam and turbo laying around, so this is where it ended up, and it fits well in this combo again because it's very similar to what the cam and turbo and all was spec for that many years ago. So it still does well, and actually it was a 6.2 is what I had it in, which is what it'll be going back in. So this combination in a 3,500 pound car went 580s at 120 again about probably 10 years ago maybe. And I would drive it to the track and run it, and I think I was on about 20 pounds of boost with the S480. So that's a billet S480 from Jose at Forced Inductions. It's a 110 exhaust housing, and it has a 96 exhaust wheel, the race cover, T6, and it's rated for 1,300 horsepower. Again, back then, that was probably about a $1,700 turbo back then. I know turbo prices have really gotten insane if you're not shopping at VS Racing's website. So I know a guy that spent $5,000 on just a turbo on his car. So I mean, it's amazing in the time I've been doing this how far turbo technology has come, because historically the eBay turbos and all that stuff, you know, were just garbage turbos that would explode and whatever. But now they've come a long way, and I know a guy that had a precision turbo on a setup and was trying to make 1,000 horsepower, and the precision wasn't making it, and he tried all this stuff, the bigger downpipe and this and that, and then I think he went to a VS turbo, and then he cracked 1,000 horsepower. So they've come a long ways, but with the exhaust, 4-inch should be sufficient for whatever you're doing. 5-inch is just way overkill. In terms of power production, a 4-inch can support quite a bit of power, and I know a guy that had a Mustang with a precision turbo and a 3-inch exhaust, and he was getting close to 140 mile an hour in the eighth. So with a good turbo, it's easy to do. But like the 78, 75, somebody was talking to me the other day. They've got a 6-liter with a 78, 75 with the 125 exhaust housing. And, you know, he's trying to make more power. And I'm like, look, dude, you've got to swap turbos. That 78, 75, from my experience, it chokes out on a 6.0. They do good on smaller cubic inch engines, but the exhaust wheel is just not enough for a 6-liter, in my opinion. If you're really trying to make some good power, you know, and I think he's got a 4-inch downpipe that pretty much just comes down and exits out the fender. So he's not having a lot of back pressure from the exhaust pipe. The exhaust pressure is from the wheel and from the exhaust housing. So that's why on larger cubic inch engines, I would say, you know, 6-liter and up, you need a larger exhaust wheel and a larger exhaust housing, so you're not running into back pressure issues. So another thing I was thinking about on this truck is, I think I talked about in the last video, I thought I had bought 120 pound per hour injectors, and I bought 100. So I thought about taking my 16 injector intake and doing a dual fuel setup on this truck. I've run one in the past, and you know, they give me a lot more room for growth, and then I would be able to drive it around at full potential all the time. Whereas with this setup, we've got the meth injection and everything set up, but you know, we're still kind of limited. So if I had another fuel tank with race gas or E85 or something like that in it, and then we had the 16 injectors, then we could drive around, you know, pretty much all the time on kill, which is kind of how I had it set up before, because I didn't want to be limited to pump gas, because we don't have E85 in close proximity around here. So I'm thinking about that. I'm toying around with that idea, going back to my 16 injector intake, and maybe putting another fuel tank in the truck somewhere, and you know, just a couple gallons, just so I can have it to feed the other fuel system. So I think when I ran it, I was on the V4 software in Holly, and it wasn't as proficient with blending the fuel tables and all that stuff. So I think V5 maybe they had it more set up for the dual fuel and everything. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think they have the software a lot more accommodating to more than just one set of injectors. So I may look into that. I already have the intake and everything to do it, and just be another fuel pump, and then plumbing another set of injectors in, which I already have. The intake's already plumbed and everything, so it'd just be running another tank, another pump, and then feeding the other fuel rails. So anyway, just that's something I'm thinking about in the back of my mind. Another thing we got going on here is we got the gauge panel finally came in here. So this is the gauge panel we got. It's not a bad piece. I don't know why they put the clock. I don't really like the clock, and I don't really like the shape of the tachometer. But it looks at this one looks as close to the OEM as the ones on the market, so that's why I went with this one. I've been working on the wiring on it, trying to get it wired in. Some of the wiring I'm gonna have to do when I pull the engine out to put the 6.2 in it. So there's that. There's the bed. I never painted these strips, so I gotta wipe them down and clear them to kind of protect them. But let's see, so we'll look at the 6.2 over here. So this is a 6L80, and then this is the 6.2 that came out of the Denali. So first impression, I mean, it's pretty clean up top. The one thing I noticed is these head gaskets don't look, I don't think that's OEM, so that does kind of concern me. It did run good, didn't have any blow-by. The plans for it are, I'm going to pull these heads off, take it down to a short block, and then I'm probably going to pull the pistons out, just do a quick hone on all the cylinders, check my ring gaps and everything, and then I may re-ring it. I want to check the bearings, check the crankshaft, see if the crank needs to be polished, and then new oil pump, new bearings, and then get this short block ready to go, and then we'll pull the LY6 out of this thing, and then take the Liberty heads off, the JFR cam and all that stuff, and then just get our engine ready to go, and then we'll put it back in there. So hopefully that won't take too long, but I want to go ahead and prep this, get it ready to go, so when we pull it out we can just swap everything over and then put it back in. So I'll probably do that over Christmas, because I got this thing going on right now. I don't know if I showed a video of that, but so my buddy that bought this truck, he bought a 97 step side truck because nobody wants a long bed, so he wanted to swap everything from this one to the 97. So initially we were just going to short bed this one and then go from there, but he found that 97 step side short bed truck, so he just wants to take the drivetrain out of this one and put it in the 97, and then we're going to put a bigger camshaft in it and everything. So he's already got the cam and all the parts to do that. So I got the Denali in the shop yesterday and got it stripped down and gutted, and then I had my daughter's birthday party yesterday, so I had to break from this and go to that, and was going to try to get this drivetrain out when I got home, but it was too late. So I'm going to try to work on this today, try to get the drivetrain out of it after church, and then go ahead and get the cam swapped and all that stuff done on the engine, and then get his truck in here, get the drivetrain and all put in it. And then I got to work on the wiring, because this is a 92, and the wiring in the 92 is completely different than the wiring in the 97. So we'll just see what happens there. So anyway, that's the project updates that I have going on right now. I really want to get my truck squared away and taken care of before anything else, because I just haven't had a chance to get my truck how I want it and drivable and everything. So once this is done, I'm going to try to squeeze this in between doing that, since I'm already pretty deep in this one. So try to get that done, get this swapped out, get my instrumentation going, and then hopefully drive and enjoy this one some, and then roll into the other projects that I have coming up in between everything else I have going on. So anyway, just want to give the update on the engine and the gauges and everything for this one, and where we're at.